Yo, what is up guys? Welcome to another Wild Rift video, and in today's video we're gonna be watching the carry side of Senna. So I remember when I told you guys that you never really want to play Senna as a carry anymore, and what I mean with that is with a build where you go for mana immune, where you go for mana immune and then Ruin on Hurricane, Duskblade of Draka, like I don't want to see you guys play that build anymore. But today we have Ryuh, who's a person that's giving me a lot of gameplay to show you guys on a YouTube channel. He's playing Senna in the support role, and he's gone for a more aggressive build, with a mana immune. I want to say something though. He told me that he had no idea what he was building, but he's a really good Senna. And in the gameplay that you're about to see today, you're going to be seeing Senna with over 120 stacks with 18 kills. So let me explain to you guys how to build Senna. If you want to skip out the build part, there's timestamps in the description. By the way, I'm doing a skin giveaway again. This month, giving away 10 legendary skins. All you have to do to enter is put down a comment under this video. So this is the normal Senna build. If you play Senna, I'm just quickly going to go over it because I'm not going to show you guys the normal build today. The normal build is Black Cleaver. Then you go for whichever boots you need, Ionian boots, plated steel caps, or mercury threads, or boots of swiftness. I really like the boots of swiftness. And then for the enchantment, very likely redemption is just very good. Never lock it, by the way, because your ultimate is already a lock it. So yeah, redemption if you need it, otherwise something else. Second item is going to be an Iceborne Gauntlet. Gives you a lot of armor, a lot of mana, ability haste, and of course the icy area. Really good. Then you go for the Cyrill's Grudge for even more slows, and then it becomes completely situational. Whatever you need, you go. You need even more armor, you go for a Guardian Angel. You need the Edge of the Night, you go for Edge of Night. And just whatever you need, like whatever you need, you go for. Oh yeah, for the runes you go for Grasp of the Undying, Weakness, and then whatever you need here, Hunter Titan or what is it called? Conditioning. Yeah, Hunter Titan or Conditioning. And then here you go for Pack Hunter. But now let me show you guys another build. If you want to deal more damage as a Senna, then this is the appropriate build. And again, the last two items are situational, like I'm just gonna delete them. First item, you're gonna go for a mana immune, for the damage. However, you do not start with a Sapphire's Crystal. You actually start with a Longsword, because Sapphire's Crystal, you don't want to start with it, because you're going to be useless in your lane. And Senna is actually quite strong at level 1. So you start with the Mana Immune, then you go for, actually not Locket, that's not the right one right here. You go for Boots of Swiftness, Mercury Threads, or Plated Steel Caps, and then you get a Redemption. You can choose to go for Shadows to slow the enemy and catch up to them. And then next you go for Blood Cleaver. So you don't go for any sort of like a Cyrill's Grudge or Duskblade of Draktar. No. You don't do that. You go for a Black Cleaver because you need it. This is the right item. It's just not appropriate to go for full damage anymore on Senna. Then here's situational. Iceborne Gauntlet is always going to be a good item, but you can also go for a With's End. I really like With's End if the enemy has a lot of magic damage. Like if they really have a lot of magic damage, With's End is a golden item on Senna because your first ability procs it as well. But it's a very situational item, like very situational. Iceborne Gauntlet is basically always good. And then here, as I said, completely situational. You need a Guardian Angel. You need a whatever, you go for a whatever, right? Like it's whatever you need. Rapid Fire Cannon is actually quite a decent one if you cannot catch up to an enemy. Especially with the Iceborne Gauntlet, by the way, because after you use an ability, your next basic attack with the Rapid Fire Cannon is going to create that icy area. So if you go for the aggressive build, the runes that you go for is Fleet Footwork, not Grasp of the Undying, because it's not worth it. In the early game, you're not going to have a bonus max health like the Black Cleaver would have given you otherwise. So Grasp of the Undying is not going to provide a lot of value. Instead, you go for Fleet Footwork, because in the early game, it's going to provide more value to you than the Grasp of the Undying if you go for an aggressive build like this. Then second item, situational. I don't recommend Weakness because you're going to deal more damage. You want to go for Hunter Vampirism. I used to go for Brutal on Senna like this, but Brutal is just trash right now. Gathering Storm is okay if you want to skill into the late game. I mean, Gathering Storm is just not that good on attack damage champions, so that's why Hunter Vampirism is your way to go. And a third rune, Adaptive Carapace, to get through the early game. You can of course get Hunter Titan or Conditioning if you want to skill into the late game. Now fourth rune, Pack Hunter. That's still the rune that you want to go for on Senna. For your spells, if you play support, you go for Heal and Flash, or you go for Exhaust and Flash, or you even go for an Ignite as a Senna. You can do that, yes. So enough about the build. Let's now hop into the gameplay.
Wild Rift.
There we go. Let me just turn off my phone real quick for you guys.
I'm not running from them anymore.
I put Ryuh's socials in the description, the one that provided me the gameplay, by the way. And I want to remind you again, I'm doing a skin giveaway, 10 skins, legendary. Put down a comment to enter. So let's take a look at what happens. Alright, so he's playing Senna. And I want to repeat, he told me to not follow his build specifically. In the beginning part, I told you guys how to build Senna, but he told me the build that he's about to go for in the game is basically just like an experimental type of build. So, you know, take the build with a grain of salt. I haven't seen the game yet. I'm doing a first-time reaction as well, because I feel like I'll be able to provide you guys the most value that way, you know, to analyze and stuff like that. So let's take a look at how he starts the game. Ooh, actually, he went out of the bush. Now that I find interesting. He could have stayed in the bush there and actually poked down the enemy. I'm not quite sure why he would move out of the bush there. Like in the beginning part, you saw clearly that he was waiting in the bush with the zigs to, you know, do some damage to the enemy. But he then stepped out of the bush. Interesting. I wouldn't recommend that. So let's take a look at how he's approaching this lane. He's trying to get himself some stacks. It's not going too well, but he's trading fine with the enemies, you can see. You know, getting stacks against the enemies, you have to be very careful. You can see, like I just said, it's not going too well. But the reason that he's not going too far, and you can see he's being very cautious, is because they're against the Thresh. There goes the exhaust. You can see how much value it provides. But let me tell you why he's not being ultra aggressive. Because I played a lot of Senna and I know these kind of things. So he's not being ultra aggressive because he's up against the Thresh, right? Like Thresh has that third ability which can pull him into the turret, and it's devastating. It's devastating. Like, it will absolutely destroy him. And it's interesting to see that he actually decided to take the third ability instead of taking the first ability upgrade. You can see that he actually used it to make the noodle invisible. You see? So normally as a Senna, well, not normally, pretty much 90% of the games, you don't take the third ability at level 2. You actually upgrade your first ability again. So let's take a look at what happens here. There we go. Absolutely perfect. He did not hit the vein, because if he hit the vein, he would have died from a turret shot. But he was waiting, and now he killed the vein. But yeah, let's talk about it again, about why he took the third ability. He took it to make the Nuna invisible, so the enemies wouldn't see him coming. Normally, you'd never do that, but in this particular scenario, he had to improvise, and he did it. So let's take a look at what he does here. He's probably gonna get the Cause Fields, whatever that item is called, the hammer, and then he gets the Sapphire's Crystal. No, you shouldn't really bother too much with the Sapphire's Crystal early game with Senna. I mean, Manamune is gonna give you 10 stacks per hit anyways, so just do your thing, don't waste too much of your mana trying to get their stacks up, because Senna is not like Ezreal. Senna's abilities actually cost a lot of mana, so don't be spamming your abilities when you play Senna. You see how dangerous that is? You see? Like, imagine, it was already this dangerous when it happened under their turret. Imagine if it actually happens under the enemy's turret. You're just dead. That is why he's being very cautious. That is why he's like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna lose a few stacks, but I'm just not gonna get hit by Thresh. That's like the whole idea behind it. He does it again. Look. Look at this. Look at how beautiful this is. Enemies cannot see it. Look, enemies don't see it, and he comes out of nothing. You see how beautiful that is? Can he hit it? Oh! But the third ability, you can clearly see it's not only an ability meant for roaming, it's an incredible ability for ganking. Exhaust, there we go, perfect exhaust. He still died, but that was a perfect exhaust. He did what he could. Perhaps he could have saved his teammate if he had flashed, but it's okay, like, it's fine. There you go, like, this is really good. He already has 20 stacks before the 4-minute mark, which is quite a good number to get, to be honest. You know, it's pretty good. Like, before the first dragon, having that initial power spike of 20 stacks is actually really important. Like, if you don't have 20 stacks before the first dragon, you're not gonna get the bonus range, and it's just not the way to go, really. Just take a look at what happens here. He gets the Manamune, which is a pretty good power spike. Again, it's not a huge power spike. Black Cleaver is gonna make you much stronger, but it's still a decent power spike. It's a decent power spike. So let's see what happens. Here, the thing that you can do is just look for stacks while playing it safe. They can rush down the dragon, they can choose to, because they're actually stronger than him. Look, he does it again. You see, he does it again. He literally does it again, and they hit the lane. You see how incredibly strong Senna's third ability can be. You see, they killed him. They didn't even know what was coming to her. She didn't even know because of Senna's third ability. She thought that only Senna was coming to get the enemies coming, and that they should be fine. Senna is good in this situation, you see. With the second ability, you can keep an enemy like a Renekton away. Yeah. So Senna has ultimate, they can easily fight this. Ult, too late. It's fine, like, he can still use ultimate for the moment, right here. Perfect. It sucks that they didn't get the dragon. The ult was good, but I would have loved to see them engage a little earlier perhaps. But still, like, his positioning is very good here. You can see when you play Senna, you gotta have defensive positioning more often than not. And that's why Senna is not that good anymore, because they nerfed her range. They nerfed the range of her attacks, that her passive is. So you cannot be as passive anymore. That's like the problem now with Senna. So that's why it's even more important to reach like your stacks faster now, because you're not gonna get as many range as you used to get. So look at this, even without that insane range. Oh, there we go. You see how dangerous that was? Just to maintain so much distance, because if he gets hooked under the turret, oh boy, he's gonna be dead. He's gonna be dead. He's gonna get stunned into a wall by the Vayne as well, and he's just dead. You cannot even flash out of that. So let's see if he decides to actually roam. It could be a potential good moment to roam at this point, because the Rift Herald is up. But the reason that he's not roaming is because they want to take the turret, right? Like, maybe they're gonna take the turret first and then he can roam around. So let's see what's gonna happen. Is he gonna backward and go back to lane, which I don't expect? Or is he gonna backward, buy some items and go to the Rift Herald, which I do expect. Again, I have not seen this gameplay yet. Let's see what he's actually gonna build. Yeah, he goes for the... what does he go for? Edge of Night? Yeah. That's not the way to go, right? Like, that's not the way to go. Even though you're gonna deal quite a lot of damage, it's just not the way to go anymore. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not the way to go. It's just not. It's really not, because you're not gonna have as much range. You're just not really meant to do as much damage as before anymore. Much better off than before. So exactly as I expected, he's roaming. And you see, boom, easy kill. Roaming around when he has to. This was the perfect moment to roam around, and that you can clearly see that I can predict this gameplay, because it's the obvious thing to do when you're a high elo player, especially when you play Senna. You do not go back to your lane in this situation. You go to the turret, you help your team get it, and you can see, especially as a Senna, because you can get so many souls. Rift Herald also gives 2 souls, so very, very good gameplay right there. Oh, he nearly hit it actually. The idea was golden. He tried to hit the Renekton while Renekton was moving to Thresh. You saw that? The idea was absolutely golden. Boom. He can... yeah. That's fine. And now he can basically harass the enemy. As you can see, exactly. He can just harass them. That's what he's doing. Again, he can attack the turret and harass the enemy. That is what Senna does. So you can see, maintaining a distance, and because he was maintaining a distance, Renekton was unable to catch him. He did not even bother to ult her, because the Irelia is 0-5 anyways. No one really cares about Irelia. Now he is gonna ult. Very good. Because Nunu is live, right? Absolute, like, this positioning is really good. You know, this is top-notch positioning that you guys are seeing right here. This is basically the pinnacle of playing Senna. Besides the build, but the actual gameplay is really good. Here, he was not scared. He stuck together with the Morgana, because if he didn't do that, potentially Kha'Zix could have killed Morgana because of the isolated damage, right? Please stop that. Nice. Let's follow that. Proto Belt Senna. Man, I'm seeing new things every single day. What do I have to say about that? Proto Belt Senna. I mean, okay, Proto Belt works with the second ability, but wait, he did it a little too early this time though, but still, enemies couldn't see coming, but Proto Belt Senna? Let's see, is he gonna use it here when he Proto Belt's close to the Vayne and uses his second ability to hit her? Because that's basically the only thing that you can do with it. I don't like it, but again, it can work, Proto Belt Senna. Another quick tip about the third ability, by the way. When you use it, you and the allies that are within you cannot be revealed, except by the blue plant. You guys know that blue plant that shoots vision all over the place? That thing can of course reveal you, but besides that, nothing can. Well, Twisted Fate Ultimate, but I'm talking about a normal scenario. Wards, the Rift Scuttler, these things cannot reveal you, so that's why it's exceptionally good for roaming around and ganking. Again, you see, like, he's not stepping up at all. He's just playing from a distance. He has 60 stacks right now. Which is a lot of stacks. Oh my god, there you can see Thresh almost hit him again. Even though he's playing, his position is really good. He's nearly getting caught at some point. Nearly. Oh, he still got the kill with the red buff. Look at that. He goes, boom. Oh, he has exhaust ready. He's exactly. You see, like, exactly. He knows his limits. It's so beautiful to see this type of gameplay. Like, I'm incredibly happy to be commenting on gameplay like this because it's exactly what I'm thinking, right? He has exhaust ready, no reason to be scared. Like, whoever jumps through that Thresh lantern, exhaust instantly. And that's what he did, and the enemy wasn't able to do anything. You see how, like, you know, you have to know when you can do aggressive plays, you have to know when you cannot. There, yet again. He knows his limits, yeah, he knows his limits. He had his flash, so in case the enemy all-inned him, he can easily go out, right? He can easily flash out. Now he's gonna go back, get some items, because he has 3,000 gold. Yeah, already has 1/8, that's actually so, that's unbelievable. No, don't, oh, he goes for another lethality item, what? Yeah, no he doesn't. But yeah, again, he told me he was just experimenting with the build. I just want to say that, you know, before you guys flame his build, basically this build that he's going for right now is like a full lethality build. And sure, now it's gonna do a lot of damage, but if somehow the enemy makes a slight comeback, it becomes useless. Like, if they get armor and stuff like that, you're super squishy and your damage is gonna be lower. So this is just not the way to go again, and you don't have range, it's just not the way to go. In this scenario, sure it can work because he's 11-0, but in a normal game it's not an easy. You're gonna fall way too behind. Maintaining his distance, you see? There we go. He already has better top lanes. Oh yeah, gotta love that. Nah, I have a headache, man. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because I have COVID, but I was getting better actually. I'm taking a lot of rest for myself. As you can see, you know, I'm getting videos from some very amazing people, so I don't have to play as much. Look at that damage though, damn. If you're snowballing the game, the lethality will do so much damage. Get the soul! Nice. He has 85 souls, by the way. That's a lot of souls. That's a lot of souls for this time duration. And 22 kill participation as well. Oh, the damage. Man, that's some crazy damage right there. That's crazy. I'm dealing nearly 600 damage with the basic attack, by the way. Wow. Okay, the Thresh is coming, but I'm just curious how much damage he's gonna do to their squishies after he gets his Ryuh, especially. When he gets to Ryuh, he's gonna be so hard to deal with for the enemies, because his abilities are gonna slow them. His first ability especially. It's unfortunate. His team died. Couldn't really do anything about that. Maybe ulted a little earlier, but yeah, it is what it is. By the way guys, if you're enjoying this video, please make sure you give it a like. It really helps the channel, blah blah blah. Just, you know, just do it if you want to. Let's take a look. He approaches with the third ability, of course. He can surprise the enemy by putting the Nunu in the third ability, which he does. And boom, root, boom, boom, boom. Boom, one, and boom. Exhaust the vein. Exhaust, where is it? Well, now you can see, you saw how squishy he was right here, by the way. Only a few attacks from the vein got him down to like 20% HP. So again, in this scenario, this build is working because he's snowballing the game so hard. Keep in mind, yo, this is an experimental build for him, and it doesn't really work. It just doesn't really work. He can exhaust him. Edge of Night doesn't stop exhaust. Yep, there we go. He slowed him with the exhaust. But yeah, again, you see how squishy he is? With a Black Cleaver, you're never gonna die like that. I mean, of course you can, but it's gonna take much longer for the enemy to do that, because you're gonna be tankier. You're gonna have 350 more HP. And when you have the Iceborne Gauntlet as well, right? Like the Kazakhs is just never gonna kill you basically. But the damage, look at that. Oh my god. Insane. I have so many amazing projects that I'm working on, guys. Really excited to tell you guys about it, but I can't quite yet because it's still work in progress. It doesn't have anything to do with my YouTube channel. You guys are gonna absolutely love it. It's like it's amazing. It's really amazing. It's two things basically. One thing that's gonna be happening in the very near future, in the next coming days, you're gonna see an announcement about it. Follow me on Twitter, by the way. There's a link in the description because I'm gonna be making those announcements there first. And then the second thing that is even more exciting, I believe is gonna be announced in a few weeks. Yes, I think in a few weeks that's gonna be announced. I'm still working on it with some people, but yes, a few weeks and you guys will see it. And I'm sure you guys are gonna absolutely love it. Again, make sure you follow me on Twitter because I post updates about those things on my Twitter account. So if you have a Twitter account, follow me on Twitter. And if you don't, make one and follow me. That's just if you wanna follow more stuff about Wildwood, and especially about what I do in Wildwood. But look at this, 16-0 Senna. This is how a Senna rampage looks like basically. This is what it looks like when you go on a rampage with Senna. And he's not done yet. The game is not done yet. He is not done yet. He's probably gonna get a few more kills. I'm sorry guys, I just want to chill a little bit because I actually have a headache. We're just gonna let this game roll. I'm just gonna chill, alright?
Death doesn't leave scars.
Oh, too far. There you go. The weakness of the build. You see it? There you go. Like, can you imagine him being 17-0 and still nearly dying?
Death doesn't leave
Is that?
scars.
But the damage is just outstanding though. Like, look at the damage. Look.
That's enough.
Ow. Sorry guys. It's a little awkward. 765 damage by the way. Hello. One basic attack. Vayne?
Death is always
Nah, the game is over. The game is over. 129 stacks by the way. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Let's take a look if he showed how much damage he did and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure he's gonna show it. This was a pretty insane game, not gonna lie. Yeah, of course he's the MVP. 42,000 damage. Imagine if he had the old Senna right there. Can you imagine what would have happened in this game? But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, I will see you all in the next Wild Rift video. Bye bye.